Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. That,
Courtroom two.
I'm sorry, your
Yes.
meeting date for SAP calendar is May 13th.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Courtroom two, are you ready for me to give my? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Who do we have first?
Start with position one. This is Andre. Andre, my bad. Don't beat me up.
Oh. Good afternoon, Ms. Andrade. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002230J with simple battery, reckless conduct, and pointing or aiming a gun or pistol at another. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
For number 1/2, 2019 shoplifting.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malgizo.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident is from February 28th, 2025. The location is Hidden Oaks Apartments, located at 2950 Springdale Road Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia. Officers spoke with the victim, Jamoni White, who stated that on the day of the incident, she was taking her 1-year-old daughter to the park, and the defendant and another individual, Christopher Smith, follow her to the park. The victim and the defendant had been arguing previously over Instagram messages over the relationship between the victim and Mr. Smith. Once they were at the playground, the defendant told Mr. Smith, who was also at the location, slap that B word. The victim stated that once Mr. Smith slapped her, she tried to defend herself, and that's when Mr. Smith pulled a firearm and pointed the weapon at her 1-year-old child. The victim also told officers that after Mr. Smith aimed the gun at the child, the defendant did actually tell Mr. Smith to stop, and they both run on foot to an unknown location. Mr. Smith slapped the victim was a directive from the defendant. As such, the defendant is being charged with this act as a party to the crime. Additionally, we have requested the defendant's case to be upgraded to an aggravated assault based on the defendant being party to the entire crime. With Mr. Smith's aggravated assault, we haven't gotten a response from the DA's office yet at this time. And Mr. Smith's active warrant is for ag assault is still outstanding. We were not able to get in touch with the victim today, but if we can sound for her when appropriate, based on the nature of the incident, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with Jamoni White or the minor victim, initials JW. Stay away from Hidden Oak Apartments, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond, and absolutely no firearms. We can please on for the victim, that is all for the state.
If Jamoni White is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Good afternoon, Mr. Chitai. Is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Ms. Andrade would like for the court to consider the possibility of a signature bond, otherwise the lowest surety amount that the court is willing to give for her case. She's 23 years old. She is a lifelong resident of Atlanta, Georgia. Her entire family lives here. She had got through school as far as the 11th grade, attending Booker T. Washington High School. Currently, she does not have a job. She's out of work, so she would not be able to afford the bond amount that the state is asking for. But recently, she did work in food service, and she did that for about a year. Moreover, she has 2 children at home. One is a 1-year-old, the other is 4 years old, and they need her care. So for those reasons, I asked the court to consider a signature bond.
Okay, for each charge will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, makes for a total of a $9,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Jamoni White. Stay away from the Hidden Oaks apartments. Relinquish all firearms, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Next is position 2, Ms. Ballard.
Good afternoon, Ms. Ballard. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002226G with battery and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second, 2019 theft by conversion.
Ms.
Yes,
Malgeza?
Your Honor. This incident is from April 27th, 2025. The location is Polaris Camp Creek Apartments, located at 2800 Camp Creek Parkway, College Park, Georgia. Your Honor, officer arrived at the location and could hear loud screaming coming from inside the apartment. After speaking with the defendant, the officer went upstairs, and so the victim, Jasmine Slayton, on the floor, screaming in pain, with her arm twisted behind her in a manner consistent with a dislocation. The victim stated that the defendant had swung her on the floor. While on scene, the officers made contact with a 1-year-old child, initials JS, that acted aggressive towards officers. While seated in the patrol vehicle, the defendant made a spontaneous utterance stating, "That's wrong for doing that in front of a child, but it's just my emotions." We also have requested this case to be upgraded to an aggravated battery, but have not heard back from the DA's office yet. I think Judge Morrow is frozen.
I'm here.
Oh,
Can you
I'm
hear?
sorry. Okay. We did speak with the victim. She stated that her and the defendant are sisters. They live in the incident location. She told us that she had just gotten home from work when the defendant started to argue with her. She was trying to get ready to take a shower, and the defendant grabbed her arm and swung her. She fell to the ground. The victim stated that when she tried to get up, the defendant pushed her back down and began stomping her on her head and arm. She told us that her shoulder was dislocated, and we do have medical records that say the same thing. If we can sound for the victim when appropriate, Your Honor, based on the severity of the injury, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety, no further contact with Jasmine Slayton or the minor child, initials JS, stay away from Polaris Camp Creek Apartments, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. And if we can sound for the victim, that is all for the state.
Slate is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Does not appear so. Mr. Chatan?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Ballard is
So
26.
hold on. So y'all saying y'all giving her a bond?
If this is Miss Jasmine Slayton, ma'am, you're gonna have to
Yes.
come up. This is a bond hearing, so that's what
Yes,
we do
sir.
in the court.
Huh?
Are you Jasmine Slayton?
Yes.
Do you want to speak to the court, ma'am?
Yes. I'm just trying to see
Okay,
what's
all right. I need for you to come in the frame for me. I need to see your face. Okay, I need for you to raise your right hand for me.
Hold on. I can't really. Hold
Well,
on.
you're gonna have to get on a device so you can manage this for me. Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down, Ms. Slayton. What would you like to tell the court?
I don't think that's fair for y'all to give her a bond.
Anything else you
I
want to tell me?
cannot word. I cannot even take care of my son. Huh?
Is there anything else that you want to tell me?
No, that was it.
All right, thank you for being here, Miss Layton. Yes, Mr. Chatai.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Ballard is 26 years old and she is a lifelong resident of Atlanta. Her family lives here in the city. She got through school as far as the 12th grade. And my understanding is that she has a medical assistant degree. It's an associate's degree, I believe. She hasn't been working recently because she was involved in a car accident, and because of that, she hasn't been able to work. So because of that, she most likely would not be able to afford the bond that the state is asking for. But prior to that, she worked in food service for 1 to 2 years. She also informs me that she has 3 children at home, 2 boys and 1 girl, and takes care of them. And she also takes care of a nephew and 2 sisters. So she's busy caring for her family members at home. Also, Your Honor, I just to emphasize once again, she has very few cycles. I think I heard 2 cycles. And according to the public safety assessment report, she has no convictions of any kind, nor does she have any FTAs. For those reasons, I asked the court to consider a signature bond instead. Since the address that she's told to stay away from, since she lives at that address, I would instead ask for a no further violent contact order, or to have, and I would object to the stay away.
Yes, Mr. Shataya, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Is the lease under the defendant's name?
I didn't discuss that with her. I was just going off the booking report that, that apartment complex is the address she provided on there. So that's my basis for objections to that. I'm not sure whose name the lease is under.
Yeah, because I looked it up, but the victim's address is also the same address.
Okay.
So in the report, both people have the same address.
Oh.
So she's going to be ordered to stay away from that address. Nothing further for the cruelty. It'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the battery, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 3 days anger awareness. No further contact with Jasmine Slayton. Stay away from the incident location. She can go back to that location on 1 occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Ballard. Courtroom 2, we do have the Arabic interpreter and the Spanish interpreter on the line. So if you can make accommodations for their cases when you get the opportunity, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, Judge, we won't need the services for the Arabic interpreter. He waived with Ms. McLeod, but we will get on the Spanish interpreter as soon as possible.
Okay, so
Aura.
who was in need of the Spanish interpreter?
Jose Mora.
13.
Okay, and who was in need of the Arabic interpreter?
Position 7.
Position 7. Madam Interpreter, again, thank you for being here this afternoon. I know that you were here with me yesterday. We appreciate you coming back. Apparently, we're not going to need your services yet again today, but I appreciate you being on the line with us. You're free to go today.
No problem, Your Honor. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Ms. Chancey, thank you as well for being here this afternoon. We'll be with you as soon as we can.
Good, thank you.
Okay, who do I have in front of me?
Position 8.
Okay. Ms. Griffith, you have been charged in case 25 CR 002223D with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, possession of open alcohol container, and illegal stop stand park where prohibited. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second, 2009 battery, a resident of Claremont, Florida.
Yes, Ms. Melgiza.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from, oh, sorry, just one moment. From yesterday, April 28th, 2025. The location is eastbound on Old Holcomb Bridge Road within the city of Roswell, Georgia. Officer saw a vehicle sitting stationary on Old Holcomb Bridge Road, partially off the roadway and partially on, but blocking passing traffic on the eastbound lane. Officer approached to investigate and saw the defendant in the driver's side with the keys in the ignition. After making contact with the defendant, the officer observed that she had slurred speech and watery, droopy eyes. The defendant told the officer that she stopped her vehicle because she was trying to find her cell phone. She also stated that she was heading to work for her 12 o'clock shift at the hospital, but the encounter between the officer and the defendant occurred around 3:15 in the morning. The officer requested a standardized field sobriety test, and the defendant complied. Based on the results, the officer determined that the defendant was intoxicated. She was arrested and her car was impounded. During the inventory search, the officer found 2 plastic bottles of vodka located in the driver's side door compartment of the driver of the defendant's vehicle. And there was still a small amount of alcohol in them. Several other unopened bottles of alcoholic beverage were discovered in the vehicle. Was at the City of Roswell Police Department. The officer requested and obtained a search warrant for the defendant's blood. The defendant refused to abide by the order given and refused the withdrawal of her blood for testing purposes. The defendant has a Florida driver's license. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $3,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. She did have a bond already set for $6,800. It was a surety bond, but the state is requesting a $3,500 surety bond. That is all for the state.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, actually, thank you, Your Honor. She is actually now a Georgia resident. Of course, she sounds like she needs to change her driver's license. It's 2300 block of Briarcliff Road that she lives on. She's been in Georgia for a while. She's working, doing work at Northside Hospital. She's a surgical tech team and program. She graduated high school in 2007. She is a CNA, certified nursing assistant. That 2009 Florida arrest was when she was 20, but she is now 36. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond if possible, and if not, a $1,000 bond. Thank you.
Okay, for the DUI, $1,000 good bond, the obstruction, $500 good bond, open container, $250 good bond, illegal stop, $250 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Griffin.
Next is position 11, Ms. Lay.
Good afternoon, Ms. Lay. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002220B with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second, 2016, afraid not prosecuted.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Sirocco.
Good afternoon, Judge. This incident took place on April 28th, 2025. So yesterday at 3030 Continental Colony Parkway Southwest in Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a dispute with a weapon call. Upon arrival, officer made contact with the defendant, who stated that during a verbal dispute with her mother, Miss Camilla Lay, over her missing cat, and Mr. J.B. Brookins had pulled out a black gun and threatened to shoot her. Now, the victim, in this case, 17-year-old Tiger Howard, who is the defendant's brother, explained that the defendant actually came looking for their mother, and when she couldn't find her, later returned and tried to fight their mother. And during that altercation, the defendant punched the victim in the mouth on his lips. A security officer there reported receiving a call about people fighting with a gun. And it was Miss Camilla Lay, the defendant's mother and the victim's mother, who say that the defendant came to the location being very hostile because her cat was no longer in the apartment and tried to fight her and her son. The officer observed visible injury to the victim's lips, and the defendant was ultimately placed under arrest. We have spoken with the victim's mother in this case. She stated the defendant does not live at the residence, she came there without permission, actually. And the defendant had pulled up and jumped out of the car, cursing and threatening her, stating further that she was going to kill her and came charging at her. And that was when her son, Mr. Howard, intervened or attempted to intervene. The defendant began to fight and hit the victim in the face, causing his lip to bust. She also stated that the defendant damaged her doorbell camera and that is now inoperable. She's of the position she wants no contact with the defendant and wants her to stay away from the residence. She said she would try to be on Zoom, so we asked the court to sound for her when appropriate. Given Ms. Lay's account regarding the threats and the other actions and the fact that this is a battery family violence and not her first criminal case involving violence either, the state's recommendation here is a $2,000 surety, no further contact with Tiger Howard or Camilla Lay, and that's Camela, if I didn't spell that out before. Stay away from 3030 Continental Colony Parkway in Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If either Ms. Camilla Lay or Mr. Tiger Howard are on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Your Honor. Keisha Lay is 25. She lives in Lithonia, Georgia, at the address shown on the county documents, the 3-card, whatnot. This happened near Greenbrier Mall in Fulton County. There's no reason for Miss Lay to not obey the court if the court orders her to stay away from the Fulton County location. She has high school education, and further past that, she is a CMA and a CNA. I notice we have a bumper crop of CNAs today in court. That's certified nursing assistants, but CMA is certified medical assistant. So she's done both in terms of education. She has worked in various settings using those degrees: assisted living, pediatric, another assisted living, etc. I would point out the 2016 matter was not prosecuted, and it was 9 years ago in DeKalb County. We'd ask for a signature bond. Thank you.
Will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Tiger Howard or Camilla Lay. Stay away from the incident location. Relinquish all firearms. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Lay.
Next is position 14, Ms. Okay.
Good afternoon, Ms. Okay. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002225Y with 2 counts of battery family violence. Your history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest. She already on pretrial for battery DV. I think you gave her 4,000 bond, 2 on each charge. It's battery DV, 2 counts. That's all.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you. This incident took place April 28th, 2025. So yesterday at 1695 Pryor Road in Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a call regarding a physical altercation, and the victim, Mr. Joe Ferguson, who shares a son with the defendant, was involved in a verbal altercation with her. During the altercation, the victim took the defendant's phone and put it in his left pocket And while the victim drove to the location to get cigarettes from the store, the defendant started pulling on his shirt to retrieve her phone. The victims tried to push her off and exit the vehicle, but the defendant continued to hold onto his shirt, causing that to rip. He had entered the store and asked the clerk to call 911. And the defendant followed him into the store, began pulling on his phone, on his body, excuse me, then bit and scratched his back, had red marks, observably dry blood from the scratches, teeth marks, swelling on his back. The defendant explained they've been in and on and off again relationship since 2022, and sometimes they will stay at each other's houses as well. The video footage showed the defendant actually retrieving her phone from the victim's pocket after the physical altercation. The defendant was then placed under arrest. And we have, with respect to that battery family violence case, I would, if you by chance don't remember it among your many, many cases that come through here, it was 2 counts of battery family violence, not with this victim, but one for her attacking her mother, hitting her, pulling her hair, busting her lip, and the other for attacking her brother, hitting him, causing scratching and bruising. And as stated, you did give a $4,000 signature bond on that case from January 27th of this year, Judge. We have spoken with the victim in this case. They are in a relationship. They do not live together and share one child. He's stated that he doesn't know what the defendant was trying to get out of his pocket. But in any case, he stated he doesn't want to press charges, is not in fear of the defendant, and wants to continue contact. We asked the court to sound for him when appropriate. He should be on. But the state, in any case, is concerned for his safety and for the risk of reoffense she poses, given the injuries he sustained and the other open battery family violence case from just a few months ago. As such, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond for each battery family violence for a $4,000 total. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Joe Ferguson. Stay away from 1695 Pryor Road, Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Mr. Joe Ferguson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. Lakia, okay, lives on Maury Avenue Southeast in Atlanta. So the addresses are different. So there won't be any problems there if the court were to order her to stay away from the location. But if that's relevant, she's a graduate of a local high school from 2012. They do have the one child together. She has worked at the Georgia Aquarium. She's worked at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. She has worked at a local local school system. We would ask the court in these circumstances to consider a signature bond, but if not that, then a $1,000 bond.
Okay.
Excuse me, can I be heard?
Yes, sir. Is this Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, I'm trying to work the app. I was trying to unmute. I'm trying to turn the video on. I don't know how to work this. I was actually start your video. Yes.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Ferguson, can you raise your right hand for me, please, sir?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, sir. What would you like to tell the court?
I feel like the whole situation was a big misunderstanding. It wasn't supposed to go that far.
Okay. Did you find it necessary to call the police?
I didn't call the police, Your Honor.
So you want to tell me what happened?
I was going to the store to get some cigarettes. We was talking and you know, like my shirt ended up getting ripped off me. I got a couple of scratches. She was just basically trying to stop me and make me listen to what she was saying, but I was going into the store to grab cigarettes. And that's how all the altercation occurred. When I spoke with her on the phone, she told me that she didn't call the police, but I believe the store clerk did call the police because at the time I did have a weapon on me. as well. So I was trying not to have no altercation with her because I didn't want an accidental discharge.
Okay, has this happened before?
No, sir.
And how old is your child?
1.
All right, anything else, Mr. Ferguson?
No.
Mr. I do have
Thank you.
one question for you, Mr. Ferguson.
Go ahead.
Now, have you spoken, let me ask you this, you said she hasn't been, nothing like this has happened before?
No, not the whole time. We've been together over 2.5 years. No.
And have you spoken with her since she was arrested?
Yes.
And in that conversation, did you tell her that she needs to stop putting her hands on people?
I told her just don't put her hands on me.
No further questions. Thank you.
Okay, if nothing further, on each charge will be a $2,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $4,000 good bond. I want her to begin the Family Violence Intervention Program. No further violent contact with Mr. Ferguson. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Next is position 15, Ms. Rosario.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I have a question because, I haven't really been in much trouble myself either. So, when you say it's a $2,000 good bond, that's what I would have to pay to the jail cash or to get her released?
Mr. McLean, if you can follow up with your client regarding how the bond works.
Certainly are.
Okay, so somebody will be in touch with you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And this is position 15, Ms. Rosario,
Yes,
is that
sir.
right? Good afternoon, Ms. Rosario. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002227G with battery family violence. Is there a history? Well, it's my understanding that this is Ms. Rosario's first arrest. Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you. Okay, this incident took place on April 26th of this month at 1818 Vesta Avenue in Atlanta. That day, the victim in this case, Miss Gabriella Whitmore, that's Whitmore, responded to the College Park Police Department to report a domestic incident that took place at her residence. The officer made contact, spoke with her, who explained that she was physically assaulted by her living girlfriend, the defendant. Ms. Whitmore advised that the two had been in a verbal dispute, which had turned physical when the defendant ultimately struck her in the face a number of times. She sustained visible marks and bruising to her face. The officer made contact with the defendant, who had agreed to come to the police station and speak about the incident. She was read her Miranda rights, waived, and agreed to speak with the officer. She admitted that she arrived home that night and an argument had ensued between the two of them. She attempted to physically take Miss Whitmore's phone from her ear, but then Miss Whitmore moved her hand and then reportedly struck her in the face. And then she began to strike Miss Whitmore in an attempt to protect herself. In any case, she attempted to grab Miss Whitmore's phone because she suspected that she was calling the police or her mother. Officer explained she had no authority to take Miss Whitmore's phone. Defendant was placed under arrest. We've spoken with the victim in this case. They are no longer in a relationship. She explained that they got into an argument and wanted to leave the residence, and the defendant was actually blocking the door, preventing her from leaving. And that when she was trying to get out of the way, the defendant began punching her and explained that this is not the first time the defendant's been violent towards her, but it is the first time that she's called the police or has made contact with the police. She's explained that she's currently in the process of filing for a TPO and she does not want contact, wants the defendant to stay away from the residence. I believe she should be on Zoom. We asked the court to sound for her when appropriate. Given that this is not the first time the defendant's reportedly been violent towards her, but the first time she's called the police, this seems to be an escalating pattern of abuse. The state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety. No further contact with Gabriella Whitmore. Stay away from 1818 Vesta Avenue in Atlanta. And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Whitmore, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity. I'll need for you to unmute yourself there for me. Raise your right hand. The other hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
As far as the incident took place because I was being blocked from the door. It wasn't only that she punched me in the face multiple times. I don't want that to be the case for her. For me, on my side, I don't want any contact with her personally. I would prefer if law enforcement came and picked up her belongings with her, if that helps. But I don't think that a surety bond is necessary. I think that she will show up at court. I think a signature bond would be fine. I just want her to learn her lesson. I don't think that she needs jail time for this, but I do believe that she needs anger management and possibly domestic violence classes. Yeah, I don't want to punish her. I just want her to get it, understand.
Thank you, Ms. Whitmore. I appreciate you being here this afternoon.
Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Rosario is 27, been in Georgia a couple of years now. High school graduate and a bachelor's of fine arts in 2019. She's an entrepreneur, a DJ, and has done restaurant work. We would ask for a signature bond considering all the circumstances.
It will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Whitmore, stay away from the Vesta Avenue address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Rosario.
Next is position 3, Mr. Bolston.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bolston. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002228G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Hold on, he got an alias. I gotta figure out what the alias is. Hold on.
So
Ante Tolbert.
Tolbert. Okay. Yep. I got Tolbert. 28. 2022. I'm sorry, 2021 probation. 2021 trespass conviction. 2020 trespass NOLO. Another 2020 trespass NOLO. 2020 battery DV dead docket. 2020 fade to appear and 4 FTAs from 2019.
Thank you, Mr. Sirocco.
thank you, Judge. This incident took place yesterday at 3393 Peachtree Road, Northeast Atlanta. That is the Lenox Mall. Law enforcement was working an extra job there when they were flagged down by mall security, who was asking the defendant to leave the mall. He stated he was not leaving and he wanted to be placed under arrest. He continued to remain on the property despite being told to leave that very same day. He was then placed under arrest. So given the history read, I have the same criminal trespass convictions from 2020 and 2021 and the FTAs. It also appears that there is an open case, as far as I can tell here, 18 CR 010786G, battery family violence, Judge Mather's courtroom from 2018. That was it looked like within our system, there was an FTA there. I also see a return to sender notice. So wondering if there's issues with housing, but given the history of the defendant's criminal trespass convictions and FTAs, there is a risk of reoffense here and a good chance he won't show for the next hearing. The state's recommendation is thus a $500 surety. BHET, stay away from Lenox Mall at 3393 Peachtree Road, Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I don't know if those 2020 and 2021 matters were Fulton County or not, but if they were Fulton County, seems like the 2018 matter could have come up at that time. Your Honor, he is a veteran. He's got a high school education and some college past that, software school, primarily in information technology. He was in the Navy and has an honorable discharge. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond given the overall circumstances.
Mr. McLean, just for clarification, he FTA'd on that battery case from 2018 in 2022.
Gotcha.
Okay, it will be a $500 good bond. Stay away from Lenox Mall. A social worker visit to assess for BHET and assist with any housing issues. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Bolston.
All right. Next is position 6, Mr. Daniels.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daniels. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002221C with battery family violence. Your history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah. Second arrest. Yeah, the arrest out of Alabama for violation to carry. That's all.
Good afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 26th, April the 26th, so Saturday, 2025. At about 3 a.m., police were called to 165 Nowell Drive in Fairburn. That's Nowell. This was at 3 a.m. The victim, Javetta Stanley, Javetta, reported that while she was sitting in her car waiting for movers to come assist her, she was moving out into a new apartment as she broke up with the defendant. He argued with her, approached her violently as she sat in her car, and repeatedly punched her in the face. She was seen to have a visibly busted and swollen, bloody lip by police. She showed police video footage of the defendant standing in the door area of her vehicle as she sat there immediately after he'd assaulted her, demanding to know why she had called 911. The defendant had fled before police got to the location, and police relocated after they took the initial report and remained nearby. They observed the defendant return to the location in his vehicle, and when they went over to the residence, they observed this defendant in conversation with the victim. So police approached, and at that point, the defendant was coaching and demanding that the victim change her statement, and he was claiming to police that she had injured her own face, and the victim on scene, although she had just made a police report and showed video evidence, was telling police, I caused my own injuries, and completely changed her statement at that point. Police took the defendant into custody. We have spoken to Ms. Stanley today, and I believe she's joined us on the Zoom. She reports that she and the defendant are in a relationship and that they no longer live together, but they do share a child. And she denies that anything happened yesterday. She denied she ever told police that she was struck, et cetera, et cetera. If you would call for her when the time is appropriate, that would be good. I would note that there have been multiple calls from the jail to the victim since he was arrested. We're asking for a $4,000 SOB through pretrial, Your Honor. No contact with Mrs. Stanley, to stay away from wherever she's currently living, since she said that they have stopped living together, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Thank you. If Ms. Javetta Stanley is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Need you to unmute yourself and activate your camera for me. So I see a Ms. Javetta's iPhone there. Of course, you do not have to address the court, Ms. Stanley, but if you choose to, now is your opportunity. Okay, hold on, Ms. Stanley. Good afternoon. Can you raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
It was a misunderstanding, and me and Mr. Daniels are on good terms, and I'm okay. I moved out, and everything is good.
Okay, so what was the misunderstanding?
It was just basically just a miscommunication, and we got into it because of our relationship status.
Okay, and tell me what got into it means.
We had a disagreement because I found out that he was cheating on me, and I was leaving him.
A physical disagreement?
No.
Tell me what happened.
And so he was trying to basically talk to me and regarding that, and I wasn't trying to talk to him because I was telling him, hey, that I'm moving out, and I just I called the police basically just to say, hey, I need someone here, just to until my movers come, until I can move.
Okay, have you gotten all your belongings out of that?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So for the time being, Ms. Stanley, I'm going to order that you all not have any contact until there's a cooling off period. That can be modified in the future. But for now, I'm going to have you all stay away from each other, especially since you have this child. I will have, and is it Mr. Daniels' child?
Yes.
How old is your child?
He's 6.
How old?
He's 6.
6 years old?
Yes.
And Mr. Daniels is actively in his life?
Yes, he's a great dad.
So I'm not going to keep him. I'm not going to keep him from his child, but you all are going to have a third party transfer. So somebody's going to have to assist with you all for him to see your son. Okay.
Okay, that's perfectly fine with me.
All right. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Ms. Stan.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Honor. No objection to the signature bond. He's a high school graduate, 3 years of college, and works for the last 5 years plus for a logistics company and does volunteer work. Nothing further.
Be a $3,000 signature bond through pre-trial level 1 day anger awareness. No further contact at this time with Ms. Stanley. Stay away from her residential address. Third-party transfer of the minor child for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Daniels.
All right, next, we're gonna do the add-on, Ms. Parks.
Sorry, I did not get an add-on calendar. Can someone?
Michael said they was doing it now. That's the first arrest though. I got the history.
Okay, I'm glad you're on top of it, Mr. Howard.
If we aren't ready with her, I can go to someone else.
Okay, I don't have an add-on calendar as of yet, so if you can go to someone else, I'll come back to
We can go to Mr. Boyd, position 4. Also, courtroom 1 should be up momentarily for the interpretation.
Okay, great, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Boyd. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002218F with theft by shoplifting and simple battery against a police officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's third arrest. On juvie probation. I don't know if they charge him as an adult or what. For armed robbery, it's 14 SC 124043. As an open shoplifting as well as of October 2023. That's all.
Giza?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from two different dates, April 17, 2025 and April 28th, 2025. Two different locations. One is Metro Package Store at 1219 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest, and the other one is Chevron Food Mart at 1217 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest. On April 28th, officer responded to 1217 Metropolitan, which is the Chevron, in response to a criminal trespass. It was reported that the defendant had been recognized of a shoplifting that had taken place on April 17th at the Metro Package Store. Both locations are within the same plaza. The victim in this case, Mr. Vansh Puri, Puri, provided the description and also video footage of the defendant as he took a bottle of wine. Mr. Puri tried to stop him from exiting the location, and the defendant pushed the victim out of the way. The defendant was taken into custody. So on the 28th, when the officer responded, the defendant was still at the location. He was taken into custody, and the defendant then kicked Sergeant McEachron, Meckron, as he was being placed into the backseat of the patrol vehicle. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety. Stay away from both places, the entire shopping center at Metropolitan Parkway Southwest. No further contact with Vansh Puri, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. That is, if we can please sound for Mr. Vansh Puri in case he's present and wishes to be heard, and that is all for the state.
If that gentleman is on the line and wishes to be heard, now's your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. Chataya?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask this court to consider a signature bond. Otherwise, the lowest surety amount that the court considers reasonable for a case like this. We heard from pretrial that this is his third arrest, and according to the PSA, he has no convictions and no failures to appear. Mr. Boyd is 27 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Atlanta. He attended Washington High School, and later he went on to get a GED. Currently, he does not have a job, although he is looking. But most recently, he worked in a warehouse, and he also worked as a forklift operator, and he did that for about 1 to 1.5 years. And he also informs me that he takes care of his grandmother, mother, and child, who is turning 1. For those reasons, I ask the court to consider a signature bond instead.
Okay, it will be a $250 good bond on each charge, makes for a total of a $500 good bond. Stay away from that shopping center on Metropolitan Parkway. No further contact with the alleged victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Boyd.
Next, we do position 5, Mr. Colton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Colton. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002219E with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
32. Open shoplifting in state court, 25 CR 000935E. Got other open shopliftings in other places. On probation, trespass, 2024 FTA, 2024 probation, 2023 FTA, 2020 trespass, simple assault conviction, 2017 simple battery DV conviction.
Yes, Ms. Melgeeson.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from yesterday, April 28th, 2025. The location is Country Oaks Apartments at 320 Fairburn Road, Atlanta, Georgia. While working an extra job at the location, officer was approached by the victim, Jasmine Marshall, who stated that the defendant came to her home and forced himself inside by pushing a portable air conditioner out of the window. The defendant then grabbed her by the hair and dragged her. He pulled her hair to the point that her hair was pulled out of her head. She also told officers that she let the defendant live with her for about a month, but that he gets drunk and high off drugs and becomes uneasy to be around. So she doesn't want him in her home anymore. The victim has let the defendant live in her place on and off. This defendant has a guilty conviction for battery family violence, a 2020 case, a guilty conviction for criminal trespass and simple assault, and another guilty conviction for criminal trespass and simple battery against the same victim. We are requesting a transfer to Superior Court, but we have not heard back from the DA's office yet. Based on the propensity that he has for committing violent acts against the same victim, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond, stay away from 320 Fairburn Road, Atlanta, no further contact with Jasmine Marshall, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. If we can please sound for Miss Jasmine Marshall in case she is present and wishes to be heard. That is all for the state.
If Ms. Marshall is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Good afternoon, Ms. McLeod.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client denies the allegations as stated on the warrant, Your Honor. In fact, he tells me that it is absolutely untrue that he forced his way into her home or that he pulled out her hair. And I don't believe that the warrant does not say that the officer saw any signs that her hair had actually been pulled out of her head, Your Honor. So my client says that did not happen. They do know each other. At some point, there's some kind of relationship, a whole lot different from she just allowed him to live in our house. It's obviously know each other well if the state is alleging that there has been incidents before, including both of these people. However, the police officer did not state in the warrant that he saw any indication that this woman had been attacked in any way. This is just an allegation that she made. And my client seems to think this is all fabricated for whatever reasons she may have had, Your Honor. He is currently not in a position to pay for bond. He tells me that he doesn't have that significant amount of income to pay a bond, Your Honor. So if the court is disinclined to give him a signature bond, which he may not qualify for, I would ask for the lowest possible surety bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Marshall. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Colton.
Thank you.
Next we do Mr. Haynes, position 10.
Good afternoon, Mr. Haynes. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002229D with theft by receiving stolen property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Probation for theft by receiving 19 SC 167779. 2019 probation. 2 shoplifting convictions from 2019, 1 from 18. 2017 theft by receiving conviction. 2012 theft by receiving conviction. 2012 robbery conviction.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place yesterday at 29 Moreland Avenue in Atlanta. It's the Texaco gas station located there. Law enforcement was dispatched to a reported stolen vehicle hit at the intersection of Moreland Avenue and John Lewis Freedom Parkway, Northeast. Upon arrival, the officer observed a red Toyota with a Georgia tag parked at a gas pump with 2 individuals inside. one of whom was identified to be the defendant and another identified to be a female, Miss Racine Kilgore. The officer followed the defendant into the store while another officer watched the vehicle and Miss Kilgore. Additional officers arrived on scene, and both the defendant and Miss Kilgore were detained while sitting at slot machines inside of the gas station. Defendant was taken into custody, read his Miranda rights, and searched. He, interestingly enough, had 18 $100 copy money, things of copy money on his person. The defendant admitted that he was renting, quote unquote, the vehicle from someone named DJ, and that the vehicle was used for what is called J running. Now that's slang for obtaining stolen property in exchange for drugs, money, sexual favors. Defendant claims to know the registered owner as a Miss Denise, but could not explain how DJ or Miss Denise knew each other or how DJ obtained the vehicle. Vehicle did not belong to Miss Denise. The registered owner was found to be Mary Ann Brown, whom we have not spoken with, but we would ask the court sound for her if she is online. The keys to the vehicle were found on the slot machines next to where the defendant had been sitting, and he was placed under arrest, of course. There were, to elaborate a little bit more on that criminal history, he's a multi-state offender with a stealing a motor vehicle conviction, 2009, 2 convictions for receipt, possession, or sale of a stolen vehicle in 2009 and 2010 out of Illinois. A number of theft by shoplifting cases, including 2 convictions, 7 other arrests. First offender, he took to financial transaction card fraud in 2007. And as stated, he has those robbery convictions and whatnot. But to elaborate a little bit more on the theft by receiving in 2013, that also involved a stolen vehicle. And so there's that conviction, and there's the theft by receiving conviction from 2019, which also involved a stolen vehicle. We have requested a felony transfer for this case based on those priors, and we are waiting to hear back as of yet. But in any case, the defendant clearly poses a significant risk of reoffense here, given not only the felonious nature of the case, his many theft convictions, 5 of which involve vehicles. As such, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety, no further contact with Mary Ann Brown, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Miss Mary Ann Brown is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. Chitaya?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would ask the court to consider a surety amount in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. Mr. Haynes is 40 years old. He's lived in Atlanta for the past 24 years. He has family here as well. He is a high school graduate. He's currently unemployed, so he would struggle to afford the bond that the state is asking for. But most recently, he worked as a groundsman, and he did that for about 4 months. So for those reasons, I ask the court to consider my recommendation.
It will be a $2,000 good bond. Stay away from the Texaco on Moreland Avenue. No further contact with Mary Ann Brown. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Haynes. And they're ready in courtroom 1 from the interpreter. And whose client is this in courtroom that needs the interpreter, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay, so Ms. Chancey, let me just go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that you will?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
That you will interpret from Spanish to English or English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. So if we can place Ms. Chancey, Mr. McLean, and courtroom 1 into a breakout room, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Grace. And if I'm expecting to get an add-on calendar, I have not gotten it yet. I can do the case, but someone will just have to chat me what the charge is and what the case number is.
Your Honor, I haven't gotten it either, so
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
you're welcome.
Who do we have in courtroom 2?
Position 9, Mr. Harris.
And this is your case, Mr. Chitalo?
Yes, sir. Mr. Harris, no, this isn't my case, Your Honor.
Okay.
I understand, he wanted to go pro se.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yes, he wants to go pro se.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Harris. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to have an attorney represent you at these proceedings. It's my understanding that although we have offered you the assistance of a public defender this afternoon, you wish to proceed without their assistance. Is that the case?
Yes, sir. I'm a royal and a sovereign citizen.
Okay. Mr. Harris, you've been charged in case 25 CR 002224Y with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
7, resident of Tampa, history out of Florida, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. 2024 theft, 2024 trespass arrest, 2024 probation, 2023 DUI. He got time served last week in SAP and was released Friday. So he's back.
Okay, Ms. Melchizedek?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from yesterday, April 28th. The location is the Greyhound bus station located at 232 Forsyth Street Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia. Officers spoke with 2 Greyhound security officers who explained that the defendant was criminally trespassing and refusing to leave the bus terminal. The officer approached the defendant, who the officer recognized from a similar interaction that he had with him on April 27th, 2025. The defendant was sitting in a seat of the Greyhound bus terminal, refusing to get up. The officer asked him what was going on. The defendant stated that he was about to ride the bus to go home. The officer explained to the defendant that he had already been criminally trespassed from this location on December 25th, 2024. The defendant told the officer that he's a royal and sovereign citizen, and therefore he cannot be trespassed from anywhere. The defendant was arrested. Your Honor, the and he also pled to criminal trespass on April 24th, 2025, during the SAP calendar. In that case, is 24 CR 008301G. It was also from the same location. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from Greyhound bus station at 232 Forsyth Street Southwest, Atlanta. Social service visit to determine if a VHET is needed. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond, and that is all for the state.
Y'all can say anything, Merle?
Give me a second. Hold on.
All right, no problem.
Ms. Bridgewater?
Yes, sir.
Since he has previously been seen by Judge Law, I want him to go back to the SAP calendar on her calendar.
Okay.
Replace it on the May 1st SAP calendar. Well, what is, no, that would be the May 8th calendar,
Okay.
right? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Yes, Mr. Harris, you do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. With that said, what would you like to tell the court?
Well, as a royal, my duties here was to work directly with the NRA, and I have a corporation that I deal with, which is a Big Step Inc. that I own under my sovereignty name, which is Tyrone Harris. I have cybersecurity and security that's implemented in throughout the states that I have to come by and also deal with. I have eminent domain, which is any private property that's in use. I can use it for public use for any type of business. And I have non-monetary conditions in the state of Pennsylvania. That's any cash, any currency of the US dollar doesn't apply to me because the currency that I use is gold. That's already implemented in the banking system, the state treasury fund of that nature. And I have sovereign immunity also, so all cash charges are charged back. Just like my case that I just passed before, I served 4 months in about a week and 2 weeks. And I already pled not guilty for the first pretrial because I had a proof of a ticket and a proof of one of the officers saying they was going to compensate a ticket for me to go back to Tampa, Florida to deal with business. And also that's
Mr. Harris, I think I understand. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. As for this matter today, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. Stay away from the Greyhound bus station, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. You'll have the opportunity to present your case at your next hearing, sir. Good luck to you.
Is there any way I can get an expedited transportation back to Tampa, Florida? If I can't use a Greyhound bus station to go back, even though I had travels to do that, so to do that.
What I would suggest to you, Mr. Harris, is that for your next hearing, that you might want to consider letting the public defender speak on your behalf and help you get some of those arrangements. That might be a possibility if you can have someone, if you can get those arrangements made. So, but that's up to you. Okay. Good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
That's all I have besides the add-on one, Ms. Parks, in the translation case, section 13.
We do have a waiver, right?
Yes, the waiver was position 7.
Okay, let's go ahead and do the waiver while we wait. Whose client was that?
That was
Mr.
my client,
McLeod?
Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes.
Can we go ahead and do that case, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe that's Diome, position 7, case 25 CR 0022113E, charged with 2 counts of simple battery, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and inciting to riot.
So when I made the note Saturday, I just put, well, he's been in custody since February. He has an ice hole, and he's wanted out of Brookhaven.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place, it was April 28th, 1695 Pryor Road in Atlanta. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I was on the wrong one. 1 moment. This was from April 1st of this month at 901 Rice Street in Atlanta. Knew that wasn't right the first time. It's the Fulton County Jail there. Detention officers were conducting a head count. When this incident occurred, the officer observed the defendant, this would be the first officer, observed the defendant, Abdu Dium, if I'm saying that correctly, come out of his cell and charge at 2 inmates, the victims in this case, Mr. Travis Carter and Katerick Terrell. That's Katerrick, initiating a physical altercation. The officer had to break up the fight and called for assistance from another officer who was conducting a head count. The second officer that came in saw the defendant squaring up on both Mr. Carter and Mr. Terrell, ran down to assist, had to grab them and escort them out of the zone. The defendant and Mr. Terrell began fighting again, another separation, and additional call for help. The altercation and the hostility had gotten riled up following the defendant striking them. It got so out of hand that a help call had to be issued to summon additional officers to the scene to restore order. And apparently during that altercation, the defendant reportedly was injured and taken to Grady Hospital. He said he was stabbed during the incident, but they didn't find an improvised weapon. Evidently, he was not out of commission for too long, because less than 2 weeks later from the jailing documents, it seems there was a subsequent incident on April 14th where the defendant fought another inmate and had to be relocated. With respect to what history-wise, he's wanted out of Brookhaven for failure to appear and being held on that. I believe that's for the disorderly conduct arrest from 2024. And I see as well, he's also being held on a burglary in the second degree under 25 PI 00126. That has a $1,000 surety on it. And just as well, I see an alien inadmissibility arrest from 2023 in Arizona, for which he is a foreign holdout of U.S. immigration and customs, it seems. Really, this is a felony unlawful acts of violence case, because he engaged in these acts of violence and disorderly conduct while in custody. We haven't spoken with the victims in this case, but we would ask the court sound for them when appropriate. In any case, given the felonious nature of this, what is really the subsequent incident, which also occurred while he was in custody, and the alien inadmissibility and the customs hold, he poses both a risk of reoffense and a flight risk. As such, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety for each count here, for a total of $5,000 surety. No further contact with Travis Carter and Katerick Terrell. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Either Mr. Terrell or Mr. Carter on the line and wish to address the court. Now's your opportunity. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe both of the alleged victims are in jail, Your Honor. This incident, as the state has stated, actually happened in jail. My client obviously has a lot going on. There's an ICE hold, a customs hold, a holdout of Brookhaven. And the bottom line is he does not have any money to pay for bond. And even if he bonded himself out on this case, there are at least 3 holds based on what I have heard. So I would ask the court to consider signature bond for him. It could be conditioned on him being released to his Brookhaven hold or to some other hold. But it's clear that he won't be going anywhere, even if he's released from Fulton County Jail, based on the holds that the state has said that he has, Your Honor. Nothing further. And also, you won't be able to stay away from the 2 alleged victims since he's locked up in the same jail as they are. I'm not sure how that would work.
They should have relocated them by now.
Okay.
All right, for each of the simple batteries, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For each of the disorderlies, it will be a $500 good bond. For the inciting to riot, a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $3,500 good bond. No further violent contact with either of the alleged victims. I'm not sure if they would come into contact with each other, so I don't want him to be violating something that he has no control over. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, anything, do you have any other clients this afternoon, Ms. McLeod?
I do not, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The same to you.
I do have that add-on calendar now for Parks, if we want to do the Parks case. And who's representing?
That's my case, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Parks. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002244B with 2 counts of battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I believe that Mr. Howard said that this was the first arrest. Is that right, Mr. Howard?
That's what I have, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. Allen.
Thank you. This is an incident from yesterday, April the 28th. Police were called at about 4:30 p.m. to apartment 3108 at the address 4725 Walton Crossing. That's the Walton Lakes apartment subdivision. There they met with the juvenile 14-year-old victim, the daughter of this defendant. Her name is Akira Parks. She had a visible bloody nose. She had blood all over her face, and there was blood outside the apartment where this incident happened going into the apartment. She also was observed to have swelling to the area of her eye. She reported that during an argument about her report card, her mother was upset with her and thought she was being disrespectful and struck her repeatedly, causing these injuries. This was done in front of the defendant's other two children, two 9-year-old little boys, MW and ZW. They spoke to police and reported that they'd observed this assault. The assault occurred in the outside area in front of the location, and then the victim went inside to render aid to herself, leaving that bloody trail. We're asking for a $4,000 SOB, Your Honor. Through pretrial, absolutely no violent contact with either of the three children, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Thank you.
Has DFAX been contacted? Do we know, Ms. Allen?
I do not have that information, but I will reach out and request.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Chataya.
No objection to the state's recommendation, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, obviously, we haven't been able to contact a juvenile victim. So that's an issue.
Okay, for each of the battery family violence will be a $2,000 good bond. For each of the cruelties will be a $500 good bond. That makes for a total of there will be not good bonds, there will be signature bonds through pretrial level 1. So for each of the battery family violence, a $2,000 SOB through pretrial level 1. For each of the cruelties, a $500 SOB through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $5,000 SOB through pretrial level 1. A parenting class, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with any of the minor children, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Ms. Parks. Okay, so I think the only other matter that we have left is the breakout room. The gentleman that we have on the iPhone, sir, which case are you here for this afternoon? Okay, court will be in recess until
Hello?
yes, sir. I was asking which case you're here for. I want to make sure that your case is be addressed.
Lakia.
Is that the last name or the first name?
Oki.
Okay. We have already dealt with that matter, sir.
Mhm. I was just asking, what was the outcome of that one? I think I probably joined a little after.
Okay. You're fine, sir. Who are you?
I'm like the father, like a
Okay.
cousin. All right, yeah.
All right. She was given a $4,000 good bond and a stay away from Mr. Joe Ferguson.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
We'll be in recess until they return. Ms. Bridgewater, you with me?
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to get me those orders, I can start getting them signed if you
Oh,
like.
I'll be happy to give them to you.
Okay.
Getting ready to come to you, okay?
Okay, are we ready on Mr. Mora?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mora. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002222Y with battery family violence and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree.
Buenas tardes, señor Mora. Usted ha sido acusado en el caso 21CR 00222Y con un cargo de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar y 2 cargos de crueldad ante un menor en el 3er grado.
It's my understanding that this is Mr. Mora's first arrest.
Entiendo que este es el primer arresto que tiene el señor Mora.
Mr. Siraka,
Señora Sevaca.
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place on April 28th, 2025 at 1374 Grand Creek Drive in Roswell.
Gracias, señor juez. El incidente ocurrió el 23 de abril del 2025 en el lugar de 1374 de Grand Creek Drive en Roswell.
And that's spelled Grancrique.
Y se deletrea Grancrique.
Law enforcement responded to a physical altercation call at the location.
La fuerza del orden respondió a un altercado físico en esta dirección.
When the officer arrived, they spoke with the victim, Miss Yvonne Davila.
Cuando los oficiales llegaron, hablaron con la víctima, la señora Yvonne Davila.
Spelled Yvonnedavila.
Y se deletrea Yvonnedeva
She explained that she was in the process of breaking up with the defendant.
Ella explicó que estaba en el proceso de romper su relación con el acusado
When he grabbed her by the right forearm, causing a visible red scratch.
cuando la sujetó del el brazo derecho, el antebrazo derecho, causando un rasguño visiblemente rojo.
In order to try and get the defendant to release her, she retrieved a children's toy and hit the defendant in the head with it.
Para intentar hacer que el acusado la soltara, ella tomó un juguete de los niños y lo golpeó al acusado en la cabeza con el juguete.
This incident was witnessed by the victim's juvenile children, two young boys, juveniles CM and EM.
El incidente fue observado por los víctimas menores, niños, dos niños pequeños reconocidos como CM y E.
They were in the same room when the altercation happened, and the officer also observed the fresh, visible red scratch on the victim's forearm.
Ellos estaban en la misma habitación cuando ocurrió el altercado y el oficial también observó un rasguño visible y reciente en el antebrazo de la víctima.
We were not able to speak with the victim in this case, but we would sound for Miss Davila when appropriate.
No pudimos hablar con la víctima en este caso, pero quisiéramos llamarla por si está presente a la señora o señorita de Villa.
Given that this was a battery family violence case that took place in front of two children,
Dado a que este es un caso de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar en presencia de dos niños,
and that there's not been a sufficient cooling off period as it took place only yesterday in the wake of the victim breaking up with the defendant, or at least attempting to.
y no ha habido suficiente tiempo para que se calmen la situación que ocurrió solamente ayer al despertarse la víctima con el acusado.
The state is concerned for her safety and is thus asking for the following recommendation.
La fiscalía le preocupa la seguridad de la víctima y de esa manera, por eso está solicitando la siguiente recomendación.
a $1,000 surety bond on the battery family violence, and two $500 surety bonds, one for each cruelty to children charge.
Una fianza bajo garantía por el cargo de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar y dos fianzas de $500 bajo garantía por cada uno de los cargos de crueldad ante un menor.
And for the defendant to have no further contact with Yvonne Davila or her children, to stay away from the 1374 Grand Creek Drive address in Roswell, and to have no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Y se solicita que este acusado no tenga ningún tipo de contacto más con Ivonne de Villa o sus hijos, y que se ordene que haya una orden de distanciamiento perimetral de la dirección 1374 Grand Creek Drive, la dirección de Roswell.
I should add as well, the defendant is her live-in boyfriend. I neglected to mention that.
Bueno, olvidé decir y debería agregar que el acusado es el novio que vive con ella.
That is all I'm saying.
Madam Interpreter, if you will sound for the alleged victim for me, do you need
Yes.
that name again?
No, sir. Thank you. Señora o señorita Ivonne de Villa, por favor, prenda su cámara o micrófono si está usted presente en la plataforma de Zoom. Ivonne Villa. O Ivonne de Villa.
Does not appear that she's with us.
No parece estar aquí.
Mr. McLean?
Señor McLean.
Dear Mr. McLean. You are mute, Mr. McLean.
Sorry, thank you. Mr. Moore is 28, denies the allegations. He has an elementary school education and works in trees, climbing in those trees and doing tree work.
Gracias, su señoría. El señor Mora tiene 28 años de edad, niega los alegatos y él tiene educación de escuela primaria, trabaja en la industria de los árboles, trepando en esos árboles y trabajando en ellos.
He has no need to go there and ask the court to give him a signature bond, if that's possible.
Él no tiene necesidad de ir a la dirección del incidente y solicitamos al juez que le otorgue una fianza bajo firma si es posible.
Okay, for the battery family violence will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For each of the cruelty to children will be a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Por el cargo de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar, será una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1. Por cada uno de los cargos de crueldad ante un menor va a ser $500 por cada cargo de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1. Esto lleva a un total de $3,000 de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1.
No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the Grand Creek Drive address.
Queda prohibido el contacto futuro con con la víctima alegada y mantenerse distanciado de la dirección Grand Creek Drive.
You can have a one-time escort with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings from that address if necessary.
puede ir con un oficial que lo escolte a retirar cualquier pertenencia personal que necesite en esa residencia, en ese domicilio.
Third party transfer of any minor children for visitation.
Si la visita es necesaria, debe usarse una tercera persona para transferir a los menores, transportar a los menores.
Judge, I believe those are just the victim's children.
Su señoría, creo que esos son hijos de la víctima solamente.
Okay, well, and if there are any children together, I'm gonna give him access, but if they're not, then it's not applicable.
Si hay algún hijo que sea de ambos, le voy a permitir el acceso, pero si no, esto no califica para ser seguido.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, Mr. Mora.
Buena suerte, señor Mora.
¿Y cuándo puedo pagar la fianza? ¿Hoy o ya?
When can I postpone? Today or right now?
It's a signature bond, so you will be released when the jail processes you out.
Es una fianza que solo necesita su firma. Y usted será puesto en libertad cuando el departamento en la cárcel procese toda su información y lo pueda poner en libertad.
Ok.
Ok.
Entonces, yo no tengo que marcarle a nadie para que pague el dinero. Eso no es solamente una firma mía. ¿O cómo?
So it's just my signature that is needed. I don't need to call anybody to come and pay some money.
Correct.
Correcto, señor.
Okay.
Okay.
Let them know they'll give them a sheet to report the pretrial for orientation.
Señor, usted le van a dar una hoja, un formulario para que llene cuando tenga que ir a la oficina de servicios previos al juicio para la orientación.
Okay, if no other questions, thank you, Ms. Chansey. We appreciate your assistance this afternoon.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Muy bien, señor, puede retirarse. Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good evening.
You're welcome. You as well. Yes, Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is May the 13th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a total $9,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Position number 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a $500 good bond. Position 4 is going to the SAP calendar with a $500 total good bond. Position 5, SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. Position 6 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,500 good bond. Position 8, SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Position number 9 is going to the May 8th SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. Position 10 is going to the SAP calendar for May 13th with a $2,000 good bond. Position 11 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position number 12 is reset further notice the defendant was released. Position 13 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $4,000 good bond. Position 15 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. And for the add-on, it is reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
I have a question about number 12, the young lady that was reset for today because she had a hold and she hadn't been given a bond on one of her counts, but then she was released.
I
So
was told she was released. Okay, I'm being told she was transferred to another county. Does
so
that
she
make
still has a charge that she doesn't have a bond on?
hold on. Let me,
I mean, I just,
okay, hold on. Mr. Jordan's gonna come into my office. Maybe he can explain it. Mr. Jordan?
if there's anything I need to do, that's all.
No, she's good. I think they transferred to Clayton County.
Okay. He says that you're good. They just transferred it to Clayton County.
All right. Thank
Okay?
you.
You're welcome. There any others?
Okay, y'all have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. You too.
Okay,
Thank you,
Judge, I'm
Judge.
about to send this other one, okay?
Okay, thank you. I'll be here.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
No, goodbye.